Today we will be going through the procedure for adjusting the torque on a brake. Only qualified personnel should attempt maintenance of NORD brakes. If you have a question about this procedure or are uncertain about any detail, seek clarification and do not proceed. For written instructions on how to perform this type of maintenance, you can download the motor brakes installation and maintenance manual from www.nord.com. Before beginning any brake maintenance, disconnect the motor from the power source. Follow lockout-tagout procedures. It is also important to make certain the application load is supported when servicing the brake. Removing power from the brake or removing the brake from the motor will release the application's load. To complete this procedure, you will need a drill with a Phillips bit, torque adjustment gun, feeler gauge, a metric wrench set, pliers, small screwdriver, a snipping tool, spanner wrench, metric T-handle, and metric Allen keys. To begin, you will need to remove the terminal box cover. Next, disconnect the leads from terminals 5 and 6 of the rectifier. Using a metric wrench, loosen the cable fitting and pull the brake cable out. Use a drill to remove the fan cover screws. Remove the fan cover. Using pliers, remove the fan snap ring closest to the end of the shaft. Remove the fan. The motor we are using today doesn't have any additional options. Note that options such as an encoder may also need to be removed in order to access the brake. Use a metric Allen key to remove the end bell. Use snippers to cut the zip tie to disconnect the brake cable. Lift the brake to remove. The brake voltage and size will be stamped on the brake. The brake we are working on today is 20 Newton meters. This information is imprinted on the brake itself. If the motor brake has been adjusted, the adjusted brake torque, along with the brake voltage, will be listed on the motor nameplate. Brake torque adjustments are possible by changing the brake spring combinations or by removing springs. In addition, brake sizes from 5 to 40 Newton meters are typically supplied with a threaded adjustment nut or spanner nut to allow for additional fine torque adjustments of the brake. The braking torque can be adjusted by unscrewing the spanner nut a number of turns or clicks with a spanner wrench. On brake sizes 5 to 150 Newton meter, full brake torque is achieved with all 7 springs. The brake springs are placed in such a manner where there are 3 inner and 4 outer springs. When adjusting the brake torque, start by removing the outer springs at opposite corners to prevent uneven wear. For this example, with a brake 20, we are beginning with 7 springs. To reduce the torque to the required 10.4 newton meters, we must start by removing 2 springs, therefore reducing the torque to 14 newton meters. If your brake has a hand lever, you will first need to use a metric T-handle to loosen the hand lever bolts so that you can access the brake springs. It is not necessary to completely remove the hand lever, just loosen the bolts enough so you can easily access the brake springs to remove. Using pliers, remove 2 springs from the opposite sides of the brake. As we saw in Table 1A, this reduces the brake torque to 14 newton meters. Note that the brake air gap needs to be tightened again after readjusting the brake torque, and the hand release may need to be remounted. Reference our YouTube videos on how to mount a brake hand release to a brake coil and how to adjust the brake air gap. Written instructions for adjusting and checking the air gap and adjusting the hand lever are also located in the Motor Brakes Installation and Maintenance Manual from the Documents section of our website. After the air gap is adjusted, reattach the brake to the motor. Reconfirm the air gap is correct. To continue to reduce this 20 newton meter brake to the desired 10.4 newton meter, we need to continue to reduce the brake by turning the spanner nut 12 clicks, 0.3 newton meter reduction per turn of the spanner nut. It is important that the 3 notches in the spanner nut are aligned with the 3 bolts on the brake before starting to count your clicks. If you are unsure whether the spanner nut has been adjusted previously, turn it all the way to its original tightened position and adjust the necessary number of clicks from there. Continue to reassemble the brake motor by reattaching the rectifier wires with a zip tie. Make sure to route the brake cable as shown. Attaching the fan, use pliers to attach the snap ring to secure the fan. The fan cover, insert the rectifier wires back into the terminal box and connect to terminals 5 and 6 of the rectifier using a small screwdriver. and finally the terminal box cover. For more information, please reference the NORD Motor Brakes Installation and Maintenance Manual. This manual is available in electronic form in the documentation section of our website at www.nord.com.